I think you should be able to see the screen right now.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, perfect. Let's get started. So, if you remember, we did the one of the very interesting puzzles yesterday, and
Hmm.
this can be marked as the end of the outside pass pawn right now.
Hmm.
So, I decided to switch to the next one, which deals with the connected pawns on the
Okay.
one side, and we can see how connected pawns are actually quite strong as compared to the protected pass pawn. So this one is white to play and win. So let's see if you can figure out how white can win this. The task is pretty simple. I think we need to make sure that these pawns go as far as possible. And at some point, the white's king and the connected pass pawns will create a mating mate, yeah, somewhere on the eighth rank when black's king is on the eighth rank, basically. And
Mhm.
that's how it should be won. So, we'll leave it here for you to figure out. This one is, I mean, I would say this one is much simpler because black does not have a lot of options here. Like there are no other moves to consider. Black only has his king moves.
Yeah. So I can already see that I can come to F4 and still get back to the pawn on time on the C file.
Hmm.
I'm within the box.
Yeah.
And so basically I need to create a scenario where I guess I can get my pawns all the way to G5 and H4 with my king on F4.
Hmm. Yes, very good.
Let's imagine by that time his king is somehow on H5 or G6. And if that's the case, then hmm.
শুনতে পাচ্ছ? আমি বেরিয়ে যাচ্ছি। ঘরটা ক্লিন করো। স্ট্যান্ড বাই থাইকো যদি কোনো এমার্জেন্সি হয় ঘরটা ক্লিন করো।
Sounds pretty crazy to leave the C pawn and try to, use the king to push the two pawns because with king on f4, pawns on h4 and g5.
Mhm.
I mean, black only needs 1, 2, and 3 moves to queen. Whereas I would need, let's just imagine even that my king was on, king is on f4, pawns are on h4 and g5. So then let's just say I leave the c pawn at that point and I play king g4, c3, h5 check, king g7, king f5, c2, h6 check, king h7, king f6. No, yeah, king f6. He's already queening.
Yeah, he will queen faster, yeah, I think in that way.
Right.
So whenever this formation of pawns doesn't work, maybe you should make a switch in the formation, yeah? Instead of keeping g5, h4, maybe you should consider to keep them on g4, h5.
Sure, but I still can't really advance these pawns without. I mean, like, just let's just say I just play king d4 here. You'll play king g4, and then I'll play h4. King back to, let's just say, hypothetically, I don't know. Well, let's just say I try to make progress. King e4. Black comes to g something, yeah. Then I don't really. Okay, so he goes back again to h5.
This is the ideal formation, I guess, because this is still within the zone, yeah?
Right.
So he has to play somewhere, king g6 or h6,
G6, let's just say.
okay? So I think he will go h6 in this position because after g4, king g6, h5, king h6.
Yeah.
Now we have to figure out. So far everything is correct. Now we have to figure out what next.
সিচুয়েশনে পড়বো তাকে রুমটার মধ্যে দিতে হবে যে তার জিনিসপত্র রাখার জন্য
Um, if I play king e4, he'll just come back to g5.
Mm-hmm.
If I play king f5, he plays c3. I play king f6. No, king f5, c3, g5 check, king takes h5. No, that's actually worse. Hold on. King f5, c3, king f6, c2, g5 check, king takes h5. G6, c1 queen, g7. I'm too slow, way too slow. I don't know, honestly. I'm not sure.
So first of all, here to make some progress, white has to use the triangulation, yeah? So white will probably do something like this, and this to pass on the move to black. So let's say he plays king f3, king g5, king e3, king h6, and king f4. So now it's black's turn, yeah? Uh, king, well, probably doesn't matter where he goes, but let's say g7, now g5, h7, and pawn h6. So it is useful to notice that whenever the pawns are like this, white is able to make some sort of a progress. So black will anyway play king g6. And now I think it's again time to make a triangulation. So king f3, king e4, and king f4. So this is the moment, like, can we win after this? Is it possible to win after this? So it seems that we are kind of like one move short, yeah, if we play king f5 here. Like if we play king f5 here, so c3, g6, and he takes, right?
Mhm.
Because now when we go here, I think we both queen at the same time. So this is going to be a draw at least.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's figure it out from this position after king h7.
So after king h7,
G6 doesn't work as well. G6, I think there will be just king g7.
right. So the king f5 line is we just looked at, right? We just looked at king f5. What happens if king f5 and that was a draw?
King f5, c3, and I don't see any win here.
And if king f6, it's too slow, right?
c2, yeah, now I think black is winning.
And now king f7.
c1.
Yeah, definitely I'm losing. Yep.
So that means we have to actually look for g6. So g6, black will go king h6. And I don't think this can be. Well, maybe we can try something. So basically what I figured out was if I go king g7, now king g5, and now h6. So this does give some winning chances at least.
Go back one couple moves. Sorry, I missed what you just did. 1 second. So king, where did you play here? King g7, right?
King g7.
Why wouldn't he just play king h6 here?
Yeah, king h6. Now we have to figure out how to win against this one. So probably we have to make another triangulation here. But here the problem is when we play this and we try to triangulate, he will bring out king to f6. And now maybe he just, but he can't wait, yeah. Okay, okay. Well, white, I think, still has some chances here. Yeah, this looks actually winning for white.
Right now, is it black to move, right?
Yeah,
So if black plays king g7,
king g7, king g5,
c3,
c3. So now I go at 6,
king g8,
and I go king f6, yeah.
hmm. Okay, can you go back a couple moves?
Like till here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you did here is you played king e3 and f4, right?
So it's black to play now. So after king g7, I played king e3. So basically I'm waiting. So if black goes anywhere from this square, I'll just play h6. And if
So
black
black,
comes here, or I don't see
yeah,
any.
let's play king h6 here.
Okay, so same king f4
Okay, king g7.
and king g5.
Same situation, right?
Same position, yeah.
Okay.
So I think this is winning then.
Yeah.
So you can actually we can actually start. So first of all, you see the pawns are going, I mean, they're propelling themselves without any problem. Yeah. So let's say king h6, g4, h5. But anytime the pawns are getting stuck, white uses a triangulation to go further up. So this, okay, drives back the king. But I think here is the critical moment. Yeah, here we should not fall for h6, but rather we should know that g6 is the correct solution here. So we just play g6, and after he plays king g7 or king h, so king h6 I think is the critical challenge. So again, white makes a triangulation and pushes the king to g7 and plays king g5. So overall, these two pawns are able to go forward, and later on, the king joins them at the right moment to create a checkmating net.
Interesting.
So this is the potential power of the, well, of the pawns, let's just say. So yeah, this wins basically.
Mm.
Okay. We have one more situation. So something very similar. I'm pretty sure you will be able to solve this one quite easily. This one is also white to play and win.
Yeah, here I'll play g7 and h6, and then when he goes to like something like basically, I guess I can use that triangulation idea again here, right? Like I can play. Basically, I need him to play king h7 is when I play king f5. I need that situation to happen. The moment he plays king h7, I play king f5. He'll start pushing the pawn or something like that. No, he doesn't have to push the pawn. Well, I guess, hold on. If I play king h7, king f5, e3, king f6, e2. King f7, e1 queen, g1 check, king takes h6, queen g6 is mate. So yeah, I need to create that scenario of king h7 from black happens when my king f5 comes at that moment. But first two moves, I think definitely have to be g7 and h6.
Okay, all right. So when you're committing g7, you are like, okay, you are fixing your pawn formation like this, yeah? So
Yeah.
let's just say I play king g8 looks forced actually.
King g king g4.
King g4, king. So here what I think is black will not go h7 but f7.
King f4.
E8.
King g3.
King G3. King F7.
King g4.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not gonna work. I'm gonna be able to make progress here.
Yeah, so what I think is the moment you fix like G7, it's kind of like already not winning. So it's actually important to figure out which pawn formation will help you create those checkmating threats.
So you're saying that like get the king placed correctly before I push what? Like, or you're saying to do a other formation of
Yeah, I'm thinking,
g6 and h7.
yeah, we can make the probably the other formation will work better.
Okay, well then h6,
Okay, so H6, I think King F6
h7.
and King G7. Okay, now what? So now we have to figure out, yeah, how and when to bring up the king.
Okay, let's do king g3.
King G3, okay. I have to wait. Yes.
So
I actually think we probably didn't even need to play king g3. I mean, we can probably try to straight away take up our king.
but so how?
Like king f5. So he pushes.
Oh, I understand the idea. I'm gonna queen that pawn and then bring the king up. Oh,
Exactly. So we first queen with the
wait,
check.
wait, wait.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait, wait. Why did you play king e6? Why not just queen with the check first?
Because if we do first,
Okay, right. He's gonna come to g8.
yeah, he
Right.
won't push straight away. He first will come here.
Okay, okay, got it.
So
So you play
first
king
queen
e6 first.
and then promote
Queen.
and then this.
Yeah.
This so actually I think we kind of looked at a similar position in this one, yeah. So if you remember this position, this was our task to calculate rook b6. And one of the winning ideas was like this. So you can see the pawn formation here. And black actually plays king c5, king c4, king d3, and a1 queens.
Right. Yeah, this is interesting.
So it's exactly the same thing which is described in this position. I mean, which we were supposed to find out. So this definitely is a simple, I mean, it's a win for sure. But I think g7 is a mistake, to be honest. Like g7 probably draws the game after king f7, h6, and this. So here the point is whenever we try to take up the king, he comes here and we don't have any progress.
Right. So is that always the case? Basically, is like I need this particular formation with pawn on g7 and h6 every time?
It looks like that, yes. But of course, it will
Like,
probably vary from position to position.
uh, I understand.
I mean, what I'm trying to say is if Black had his pawns not like on d5 and e4, but e5 and f4, then probably this system won't work because Black will queen with a check, yeah, on f1.
Yeah.
So in that case, maybe the position is drawn. I mean, if we just shift like one file apart, all these guys, then maybe the position is drawn.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. But apart from that, I think yeah, h7 makes more sense. I mean,
Yeah.
g7, h7. Another way to win in this position probably can be to, so probably we should still play something like this. And then we can bring the king to d4 and push c4 as well. So for example, we just play this, and play c4.
How does that change things?
Well, if he takes like this, we play b
Well,
and
no, not that. He's not gonna take like that. He's gonna take with the other pawn, right?
yeah, if he takes with the other pawn, then we take with this one and still end up doing the same thing. Yeah, king f5, king e6, and win as well. I mean, after he plays this, we play king f5, c3.
What if he doesn't play that though?
Uh,
Go back for a second. What if he doesn't play king h8 and he plays instead? So okay, white still has an extra tempo.
no, it doesn't matter.
What
Yeah,
if
I can play king d4.
so if black plays h6? Oh, okay. Eventually the tempos will run out, basically.
Yeah, I think eventually it will run out.
Okay, got it. Wow, that's interesting.
It should be winning. I mean, both ways. Like usually, as you can see, even from that game, there are multiple ways to win this kind of position. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rafi, could you give me 1 minute, please? I'll just be back.
Sure.
Yeah, if we can resume. So let's go for the next one, yeah, which is slightly trickier.
Okay.
Okay, so the question is still the same. It's white to play. And here you can see the formations have changed slightly.
White to play, right?
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me a 30 seconds real fast? I'm just gonna quickly run to the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, sorry, back. I almost had one idea that might work, but it would be nice. Like I calculated a line where basically my king gets to h6, and by then he's already on e2. I play f7. He plays king f8. I play king h7. He queens. I play g7 check. He takes on f7. Queen g8 check. And see, in that scenario, it'd be great if he can play king e6, but he has king e7 and even king f6.
King e6 is not going to be possible, yeah, because you promoted on g8. So
Oh, yeah. That's, yeah.
here I think the problem is, I mean, our usual trick of putting the king on e7 and trying to promote like this uh, doesn't work, yeah?
Yeah, because he's queening with a check.
Yeah, because he's quitting with a check. So here we need to figure out when to capture on d5. So f7, I mean, so that f7 and this king can come here and probably win the game.
Well, the king can't, the king can't necessarily come to f6 because he can always play king g7, right?
Yes, that's exactly what we have to figure out, when to use this f7, so that after king g7, white might play something with the king and force him to go to king f8. Like for example, if we play f7 right now, king g7, and now if we take king d5, then it doesn't work, yeah, because e3 and e2, and he promotes with a check, right? So we have to, I mean, understand the difference here, because let's just say if he plays king f8 here, then white might win this game, because we will play king e6 and we will play king f6 here.
He plays king e6. Why isn't black playing king
King g7, king e7.
7, right? But is that automatically a win though? So king g7, let's follow the line.
Yeah, king g7, king e7 wins because e2
Then
and we
e2.
promote with the check, yeah?
Oh, then we're just in time to stop the pawn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
but the issue is he will not play king f8, yeah? The issue is he will play king g7. Now we actually need this particular position with black to play. We cannot triangulate here, yeah? We don't have enough squares. I mean, if triangulation was possible, we could have done this, but that's not going to happen.
Right. Yeah.
So directly f7 doesn't win. That's the whole point. So how white can pass on the move to black? I think that's the major question here.
I have no idea because the way that you would do the triangulation here, you can't do it because of the e4 pawn.
Yeah. So the normal triangulation way doesn't work here.
Somehow we need to come back to d4 via a different route, but there's only one route back to d4 each time.
Mhm.
I don't know. I have no idea.
What if we start with some waiting moves with like king e3 and stuff?
Okay, king e3. Say he plays king f8.
Okay, king f8, and now we play f7.
King g7.
So here, try to figure out if something can be possible. So basically king e3, king f8, f7, king g7.
King f4. I just play king f4, then what does he do? King f8?
King f8. But don't forget the previous variation, Rafi, which we saw, yeah, that we kind of agreed that this is the position we need with black to play, basically, yeah. I mean, in the previous variation, we saw that in case of f7, king f8, king d5, e3, king e6, e2, this wins for white. So that means the only defense for black was king g7. And if this position was black to play, then white wins because black will be forced to play this and we take it. So with king e3, king f8, f7, king g7, now we really have pretty decent chance to win the game.
So king of, I mean, like here we just play king d4, right?
Yes, just king d4, and this wins. Because black has no moves, yeah, he has to play king f8, and we just take king d5.
And after e3, king e6, e2, king f6, right?
Yeah, e2, king f6.
And if he plays king g7, we play king e7.
Yeah, exactly. So if he doesn't, I mean, if he plays king g7 straight up, then we just simply take it.
Right.
And if he plays e3 and now king g7, we play king e7, of course. Promotion with the check.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for the connected passports.
Hmm.
But you can see, yeah, these things can be a bit tricky, yeah, at times.
Yeah, very tricky.
Yeah, I mean, compared to the outside pass pawn, where the idea was pretty clear that you need to sacrifice it to make gains on the other side of the board, this is slightly trickier because here the pawns, well, I mean, the formation of the pawns matter, the position of the king matters, and also who has to play, yeah, that also matters. So
Yeah.
you are pretty much using multiple techniques to actually win this. This was actually very evident from the first position, where we saw that initially white made this formation, like when the H pawn is further ahead, then white used triangulation to make some gains. So you can see here, white again keeps the formation like this, the H pawn is ahead, and white makes use of the triangulation. So our rule says that whenever there are two or more than two techniques used in one position, that position is already an advanced position. So it's already a difficult one. And then white makes use again of this formation, but here g6 will win, not the h6 and g5, yeah? So it kind of changed suddenly. So this means
Mhm.
there was a chance for us to go wrong with h6 because we were already like forming the h pawn first and the g pawn next.
Yeah.
But here g6 only wins, and so for king h6 we saw that now again we use a triangulation to get access to g5, and this is already the critical moment, yeah, because you are away from the pawn right now, so it's too far. But you have this checkmating idea with h7. So again, we get back to the same formation.
So is there any heuristics or anything that I can use to know when to use which pawn formation? Is
Uh,
there any kind of
I
rule
don't
that I
think
can
so.
memorize?
I don't think so. That way it will work. But in a thumb rule, you can see that if you have the chance of putting h7 and g6, better do that instead of g7 and h6 because this gives you more winning chances. But what I feel is in most of the position, which pawns to push depends on which square you want to access with your king. Like for
But how would
example,
I know which squares I want to access with my king?
You have to calculate that, right? I mean, there is no way knowing it upfront. I mean, it keeps on changing with a lot of things. Yeah, it will depend on where black's pawns are. It will depend where your king is and where your pawns are going to be. I mean, for example, yeah, like hypothetically speaking, if we shift these guys one file apart, I'm pretty sure this method might not work because when the b pawn will queen, it will somehow control the g6 square. Yeah, like this is
Hmm.
actually kind of visible from this position. So let's say this, this, and this was the win, right? So now we win by checkmating. Okay.
Right.
Now imagine if black actually had the queen on b1, like he promoted on b1,
Yeah, no checkmate.
then no checkmate. So it keeps on changing. So it's actually difficult, but the point of knowing these positions are because you need to have a first-hand information that if you keep your pawns on, let's say, for example, h7, g6, you have more winning chances. That is actually what I used in my game in this particular position. Like I actually knew that, I mean, if you can see, I also had a decent chance to keep my pawns like this as well. But I kind of straight away knew that this is the best formation for my pawns
Hmm.
because I knew I just automatically remembered that if I have this, then I can gain access and just win the game. Like that gives me more winning chances than if I keep my pawns on b2 and a3.
Mhm. Makes sense.
Okay, I think Ravi,
Basically, generally speaking, like I want my pawns to be on, b3 and a2
yeah.
as they get closer to the queening square, unless there is any reason not to. Like, for example, black is queening with a check on my king on the c file, or in
Mm.
that other case,
Yeah.
somehow there's a pawn stopping the checkmate idea on b3, something like that. Otherwise, generally speaking, the idea is to put the pawns on the lights. I mean, like the
Mm-hmm.
third
Yeah.
rank and second rank.
Yes.
I mean, like basically b3, a2, or it would be, I guess, g3, h2, right?
Yes, I kind of agree with this. I mean, actually, the point is, as I said, yeah, the more positions you see, you will actually understand the importance of the pawns on these squares. And if you get a chance to get these in your game, you will be looking forward to it. Because generally when you get stuck in this position, so most like some people automatically think that okay, there is no way to make progress because if I come here, white pushes, yeah, and white is actually quite fast, right? Like just takes 3 moves. So
Yeah, in an actual game, I would definitely take the draw immediately here.
yeah,
I
so
wouldn't even think much of it.
yeah, that's the point. But now when you
I mean,
know
like
that,
even if I thought I might have had winning chances, I wouldn't risk it because I mean, you can easily lose this position too.
yes, exactly. Actually, that's the point, yeah, because as long as you are shuffling around like somewhere here, you are fine. But you know that in order to win, even with these pawns, you need your king, yeah. So you need an additional piece.
Oh
So
yeah, you have to calculate
yes,
everything to the end before you can play a move like king g5
yes,
or
yes.
f5.
Perfect. Before you actually go to the fourth rank, you need to calculate everything. You cannot just play the move. So I would still recommend that it's better to calculate and then go forward.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I think
But I mean,
for
if you couldn't, like, I don't know, in this scenario, in a real game, say you couldn't for some reason. Hold on one second, Anwesh. Hold on one second.
yeah.
Hello? ওকে তুমি রিবাকে বলো আমি এখন চেস চেস ক্লাসে রাখি ওকে 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 রাখি ওকে Anwesh, 1 second. I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem.
I gotta get the door. 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, back. Uh,
You're right.
so what I was saying is, yeah, in a real game, if you couldn't calculate all the way out to the end, I mean, you wouldn't. You would just take the draw, right? Unless you could calculate everything.
Yes. So as we discussed this position, yeah, I remember I actually, before playing Rook B6, I actually saw how black is winning, and only then I played Rook B6, or else I wouldn't have gone for Rook B6 for sure. In fact, it was
I
not
see.
just Rook B6, it was like few moves earlier itself. I saw that this endgame will be winning, and that's why I pushed like A3 or something. uh, or else I would have definitely not gone for this move. Like I would probably first play Rook B6 to avoid all the Rook B8 dramas and all. But only because I calculated everything till the end, then only I went. So it's actually, I just know that White's D5 pawn. I have no other ways. Yeah, like I have no simpler means to damage this pawn structure. So the moment I'm trading the rooks like this, it is actually protected pass pawn versus connected pass pawns, right? So
Mm.
unless and until I actually see this position till the end, I would not go for this. Yeah, if you give me a pawn on f6 or something where I know I can play f5 and damage the pawn structure, then it's a different thing. Then I will probably just play without calculating much. But in this case, I know I don't have any means to actually damage this. So it has to be like calculation till the end, and then comes the move.
I see.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, we did cover the major portion for the King Pawn Endgame. But still, I think I would still probably spend a little bit extra time on this one so that we kind of revise everything that we have gone through so far,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
then maybe make a move to the Rook Pawn Endgame.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So for today, Rafi, I think we can probably stop. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay, perfect.